Hey y'all, come on in. Welcome back. And today on this video, I think on the last one I stated there, I'm not going to take any more orders now until after the first of the year. But I do have 3 things that I do want to get accomplished there before the end of the year. This purse that I'm laying out here is for my wife Judy. Then I've got a Big Keith's antique radio case that I want to get that done, and then I want to get my grandma's 1910 Singer treadle sewing machine up and going. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm not going to, that's why I'm not going to take any more orders. I've already cut them off. And I want to focus on getting this done. But anyway, I thought you guys might like to see some of this. Now what I've done is part of the layout. She also wanted the violets on it. Here's the latch that she chose. But then we got to thinking on that last one, if you remember. Had the violets over here in this corner, and then the latch. But there wasn't really anything up in here or over in here to draw the eye's attention, if you will, over here to this side. So we thought this latch was going to draw more attention than what we wanted if those leaves were not on there. It was going to draw attention, we felt anyway, away from the violets. So we added the leaves over here. That the latch no longer is a prominent player anymore. It's going to be somewhat in the background. And then she also wanted the butterflies. So what I've done in order to do the placement for the butterflies is I've got the latch where the violets are going to live and these leaves over here. And then I just took my pencil then and I just drew a rough outline around the violets where the latch is going to live and then where the leaves are going to live. That way when I tool in the butterflies, then I can come in above where this fold is going to be, and I can come in and I can place some butterflies then and know for certain that they're not going to get up underneath. This is what you don't want to do. I don't want them to get up underneath where the violets are going to be. I don't want them to get up underneath where these leaves are going to be over here. So I just took that pencil, drew a rough. I just came around it, put a very light mark around where everything's going to be located. So when I get this wet and tool in the butterflies, then I know where I can place them. And then after the coloring's done, after it's ready to go, then I can come in and do the placement of these 3, and the butterflies then are going to be well outside the range or outside the area of where that other stuff's going to live. So I've got the layout on this main piece. I've got let's get this out of the way. But what I did, where I'm going to punch the holes, I think if you remember on the last purse that we did, these stems are going to go down, actually go through the leather. So I just took one of my little punches. That's all they are, just very miniature little ice pick, as I call them. And I just came in, once I got them laid out where I wanted them to be, then I just put a prick hole in the leather. So when I come in now and I punch all of the holes around the edges for the double loop stitch, then I'll come in with the hole punch. I'll go ahead and punch these holes as well so I can locate those. And then once I get that all done, then I'll come in, I'll get it wet, and I'll come in at that time and add the butterflies to it. Then I'm going to wait until that point, just for the simple fact there's going to be a whole lot of handling. She wants the tan double loop stitch on this one like we did on that last one. So there's going to be a whole lot of handling out here on it, and I don't want that to, I don't know what the word would be. I guess maybe I don't want it to upset the placement of where these butterflies are going to go. So I'm going to get all that done first, and then I'll come in at the very end before we do the coloring, and I'll place the butterflies, get super sheen on it, use a little bit of stain so I can highlight the butterflies, and then we'll get that part of it ready to go. But this part is ready to start doing. This is the back piece, the center is going to be your fold, and this will be your front flap. I've got the two little pieces cut. These are going to be where the loops will be. For the she also wants the wrist strap and the shoulder strap, so that's where those will clip on. Those will attach to this piece here. Give you an idea where we're going. This will go on here, and that'll give you the width, if you will, for how wide the purse will be. Now remember, now this is important, folks. This is really critical. I don't care where you start as far as your lacing is concerned. I already said I recommend that you start your lacing in a non-high traffic area where it's not going to be handled so much. There's not going to be so much hand traffic. But what I did is I started, here's going to be my initial starting point, lined it up with the latch. Now I'll actually start the lacing probably over here on the side somewhere, just because there's going to be a lot of handling, going to be a lot of hand traffic down here. This is where most of your hand traffic's going to be. So I'll probably start it up here, but you need a starting point for your holes. You have to have a starting point for your holes. And when you do the centerpiece, as I stated on that last time, Oh, sorry if I bumped you. Make sure you're still. This is critical. You remember on that last part I demonstrated where I started down one side of it, then when I got to the end, I just turned the corner, went across, turned the corner again, started coming back down this other side. Don't do that. Do not do that. Go down one side, go across, and then come back down to where you started on this end here and start down the other side. Reason being, if you just turn the corner and come back down this direction, you're going to be at least one hole off, believe it or not. I demonstrated that on that last purse, and you got to understand that. In order for your holes to line up all the way around, you got to keep that in mind. So don't just turn the corner and come back around. Now this piece, this is my starting piece. All of my other holes are they'll trigger off of this right here. Everything else, every other hole that I do is going to start with this one right here. Now I may start the lacing over here, but the holes are still going to be the same number. That's what you want. On the front piece that goes underneath the flap, it'll go on here like that. What I'll do is I'll come in and I'll measure across just like I did here. Here's my starting point. I used my latch. I measured across here, got the center of the leather, brought it down, and here's where I started. I'll do the very same thing on this one here. I'll measure across, I'll get my center, I'll come down to where my holes are going to be, and that's where I'll start. I went around this side first. I'll do the same thing. I'll come around this way, I'll go across, and I'll come back down. But what I'm going to make sure of is I may even have to come back down here and go up this side with it. But the main thing is, when I put these two pieces together, I'm going to have the same number of holes on this piece that I have on this piece. They're going to line up. That's critical. Before you start punching holes, take that little bitty miniature ice pick. In other words, what I'll do is now these I can go ahead and punch. This is what I'm keying off of. Everything else is going to align with this piece right here. So what I'll do is I'll come in with my roller. I'll make the little indentions that this thing makes. Then I'll come back in with my little ice pick and I'll count off of my starting point how many I've got going up each side, because I want the same number from this center mark going up this side and this side. This top part is not so critical. It's not going to be stitched to anything else. I'll run a stitch across there, but it's going to be a standalone, so that's not critical. It's not going to be tying into anything else. But those are the things that you need to be careful of, especially when you're doing like I do most of the time now. As you can tell, this is not a kit. I cut all of these pieces out of one of my sides of leather, and that's what I'm doing. But I cannot stress enough, take your time and get your hole count where you need to be. That way when I pick this piece up, actually it's going to be back here like so. I demonstrated on the front flap. It's not going to have anything attached to it. Well, it'll have this center piece attached to it. But this piece right here will lay back there behind this piece like that. So you want the same number of holes. But start from where you designate. And I don't care where you start. I don't care what your designated location is. You just have to make sure that you have the same number of holes. If you don't, when I tie this piece in with the lacing, it may wind up crooked. I may wind up having one too many holes. You know, it's just, that's stuff you gotta think about when you're doing your layout. So as long as it's done with a pencil, or you have these little indentions in here, if you're off somewhere, you haven't punched a hole, you can still come back and change this. And when you punch your holes down, I guess what I'm saying is, once you punch holes in it, you're done. Unless you can think of something else to use that piece of leather with. So it's, I can't stress it enough. So anyway, I'm going to get this started. I'll probably work Big Keith's radio case while I'm also working on this, because there's going to be quite a bit of drying time involved in this. I didn't show doing the centerpiece. We've got it done. Got it ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and punch holes in these items. Excuse me. Get them ready to color. And then I don't know, y'all have seen me do so much of this already. I don't know how much of it you want to see. I'll probably show a whole lot more of that radio case than I will this. Because all this is going to be just a repeat of the last one, just a different customer, different colors, and something that the little stuff we can change there to make it hers. No one else will have one like it. So anyway, with that, we're going to, I'm going to get all this done, and I may show parts of it. But I think most of the next series of videos are going to be the antique radio case. So anyway, with that, we'll, again, I'm going to mention, we're at the end of October, folks. If you haven't got started on your Christmas stuff, you better. I'd a whole lot rather see you get it done early. You can put it in a sack or in a box and set it in the closet or whatever until time to wrap it. But get started on it. hopefully y'all have been working on it long enough now to get an idea of the amount of time it takes, all depending on how involved it is. So anyway, with that, we like to always end with don't be mean. If you're not willing to treat Jesus that way, then let's not treat each other that way. We're oh, I did want to mention too the insulin case that I got finished. Took out there to co-worker Max, and it was a tremendous hit. He just super loved it. It fit his little portable pump very nicely, and so that's the kind of stuff you can get into. We're here to have fun. That's what it's all about. Make stuff for other people, make them happy. So with that, probably until the antique radio case, until then, adios.